Can pure hatred of your rival become the ultimate recruiting tool? Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because what we're witnessing right now in the baseball world isn't just another free agency saga. It's a masterclass in psychological warfare, geographic destiny, and the kind of rivalry-fueled drama that makes this sport absolutely electric. We're talking about Tatsuya Imai, a Japanese pitching sensation who didn't just enter the free agent market. He walked in wearing a metaphorical Beat LA t-shirt, and the San Francisco Giants are salivating like wolves who just spotted wounded prey. Let me paint you the picture that's got baseball insiders buzzing from coast to coast. A few weeks ago, Imai made a statement that sent shockwaves through the Pacific Division. He wants to beat the Los Angeles Dodgers. Not compete with them, not challenge them. Beat them. And if you're sitting in the Giants front office right now, you're not just interested, you're practically sprinting to the negotiating table with a contract in one hand and a welcome to San Francisco banner in the other. Here's where this story transforms from interesting to absolutely fascinating. Andrew Tretinick of NJ.com recently dropped a prediction bomb that's got the baseball community in a frenzy. Imai will sign with the Giants this winter. His reasoning? Pure, unadulterated poetry. The Giants get their counterpunch to the Dodgers' beefed-up rotation with their own Japanese fireballer. Think about the layers of perfection here. The Dodgers have systematically constructed a rotation that looks like an all-star team starting five. They've flexed their financial muscles, leveraged their Japanese connections, and built what many consider the most formidable pitching staff in baseball. And now comes a pitcher with elite stuff who's essentially declared war on them before even signing his first MLB contract. For the Giants, this isn't just about acquiring talent. Though make no mistake, Imai possesses the kind of arm that makes scouts lose sleep with excitement. This is about narrative. This is about identity. This is about looking your blood rival dead in the eyes and saying, "You think you own the West Coast Japanese market? Watch this." Let's talk about something that doesn't make headlines, but absolutely shapes careers. Geography. Japan sits approximately 5,500 miles from California and a staggering 6,700 miles from New York. That 1,200-mile difference might seem trivial on paper, but in the lived experience of a professional athlete trying to maintain connections with family, culture, and home, it's monumental. Historically, Japanese players have gravitated toward West Coast teams for precisely this reason. The flight from Tokyo to Los Angeles or San Francisco is brutal enough, roughly 11 hours of cramped airplane seats and recycled air. Add another 3 or 4 hours to reach New York, and you're talking about a journey that transforms difficult into absolutely exhausting. When you're making that trip multiple times per year to see family, attend to business interests, or simply reconnect with your roots, those extra hours compound into days, weeks, and ultimately a quality-of-life calculation that can't be ignored. The Yankees and Mets are undoubtedly watching this situation with keen interest. Both franchises would absolutely love to add a pitcher of Imai's caliber to their rotations. The Yankees perpetually hunting for that next championship piece, and the Mets, armed with Steve Cohen's seemingly bottomless wallet, represent formidable competition for any free agent. But here's the brutal reality they're facing. They're fighting an uphill battle against geography, established precedent, and now a player who's already declared his intention to wage war against a team that happens to be in the same division as their most logical West Coast destination. Let's not lose sight of why this matters beyond the soap opera drama. Tatsuya Imai can pitch. We're not talking about a publicity stunt or a feel-good story. This is a legitimate high-octane arm with the kind of stuff that translates across any league, any competition level, any stage. Imai brings a fastball that explodes out of his hand with velocity that makes hitters' eyes widen, complemented by secondary pitches that feature the kind of movement and deception that leave batters flailing at air. Scouts who've watched him dominate in Japan describe his repertoire with the kind of reverence typically reserved for established MLB aces. His command is advanced, his composure under pressure is remarkable, and his competitive fire. Well, we've already established that he's got enough of that to fuel a small city. For the Giants, who've watched the Dodgers parade championship aspirations while they've struggled to find consistent starting pitching, Imai represents more than just an upgrade. He represents validation. He represents hope. He represents the possibility of finally having an answer when the Dodgers roll into Oracle Park with their star-studded lineup and their insufferable confidence. Here's what makes this situation absolutely delicious from a competitive standpoint. Genuine animosity is rare in modern professional sports. Players switch teams constantly, maintain friendships across rosters, and generally approach their careers with professional detachment. It's business after all. But Imai's declaration? That's not business. That's personal. That's the kind of motivation that can't be manufactured in a team meeting or conjured up by a motivational speaker. When a player explicitly states they want to beat a specific team, they're not just setting a goal, they're establishing an identity, a purpose, a reason to push through the inevitable struggles and setbacks that define every professional career. Imagine being the Giants' pitching coach and having a starter who doesn't need to be reminded what's at stake every time the Dodgers come to town. Imagine having a player in your rotation who views those matchups not as just another series, but as personal validation, as proof of concept, as the entire reason he crossed an ocean to compete at this level. The psychological advantage is staggering. While other pitchers might feel the weight of the rivalry as pressure, Imai would embrace it as fuel. Every strikeout against a Dodgers hitter becomes a statement. Every quality start against their lineup becomes vindication. Every win becomes a step toward fulfilling the promise he made before even signing his contract. Despite all the logical reasons pointing toward a West Coast destination, we can't completely dismiss the possibility of an East Coast team making a compelling case. The Yankees and Mets both possess advantages that transcend geography. The Yankees offer history, prestige, and the opportunity to pitch in the most iconic stadium in baseball. For international players, the global recognition that comes with wearing pinstripes can be intoxicating. The Mets, meanwhile, can simply outbid anyone if Steve Cohen decides he wants something badly enough. We've seen him flex that financial muscle repeatedly, and there's no reason to think he wouldn't do it again for a pitcher of Imai's caliber. But here's the challenge they face. Imai has already tipped his hand. By declaring his intention to beat the Dodgers, he's essentially announced that his primary motivation isn't money, prestige, or history. It's competition against a specific rival. And you can't compete against the Dodgers in meaningful regular season games if you're playing in the American League East. Sure, there's always the possibility of World Series matchups or interleague play, but those opportunities are sporadic and unpredictable. The Giants, by contrast, face the Dodgers 13 times every season. That's 13 opportunities to prove your point, to back up your words, to show that your declaration wasn't just empty bravado, but a genuine mission statement. From a pure baseball operations perspective, this situation represents a fascinating case study in how teams evaluate and pursue talent in the modern era. The Giants' front office, led by Farhan Zaidi, has built a reputation for analytical rigor and strategic thinking. They don't make emotional decisions based on rivalry dynamics or public declarations. Except, what if the emotional element is actually the strategic advantage? What if Imai's stated desire to beat the Dodgers isn't just noise, but signal? What if it represents a level of motivation and competitive fire that can't be quantified in spreadsheets, but absolutely matters on the mound in high-leverage situations? Smart front offices recognize that baseball isn't played in a vacuum. Context matters. Motivation matters. The intangible elements that separate good players from great ones often can't be measured by traditional or even advanced metrics. Sometimes you have to trust your instincts and recognize when a player's psychological makeup aligns perfectly with your organizational needs. The Giants need starting pitching. That's not a secret. But more than that, they need an identity. They need a player who embodies their competitive spirit, who reminds their fan base that this rivalry isn't one-sided, that San Francisco still has something to say in the National League West conversation. Imai could be that player, that symbol, that catalyst for a cultural shift within the organization. As we move deeper into the offseason, the tension surrounding Imai's decision will only intensify. Every day without a signing becomes another day of speculation, another round of rumors, another opportunity for teams to make their pitches and adjust their strategies. The Giants have to feel confident. They have geography on their side, a clear organizational need, and a player who's already declared his intention to do exactly what they need him to do. But confidence doesn't guarantee outcomes, and in the unpredictable world of free agency, nothing is certain until the ink dries on the contract. What we do know is this: Tatsuya Imai has already made an impact on Major League Baseball without throwing a single pitch. He's created a narrative that transcends traditional free agency coverage, sparked genuine intrigue about his motivations and decision-making process, and reminded us all that sometimes the best stories in sports are the ones driven by pure, unfiltered competitive desire. If I'm placing bets on where Tatsuya Imai ends up, I'm putting my money on San Francisco. The combination of geographic advantage, organizational fit, and psychological alignment is simply too perfect to ignore. The Giants need him, he apparently wants to beat their rival, and the narrative writes itself in a way that makes Hollywood screenwriters jealous. But here's what makes this story truly compelling. Regardless of where Imai signs, he's already established himself as a player to watch. His declaration wasn't safe or calculated, it was bold, specific, and genuine. In an era where athletes are often coached to give bland, non-committal answers, Imai's willingness to declare his intentions is refreshingly honest and undeniably exciting. The next few weeks will reveal whether the Giants can close this deal, whether East Coast teams can overcome the geographic disadvantage, and whether Imai's anti-Dodgers stance was genuine motivation or simply savvy marketing. But one thing is certain: when he finally takes the mound in Major League Baseball, every eye will be watching, every scout will be evaluating, and every Dodgers hitter will know exactly what's at stake. This isn't just another free agency signing. This is the beginning of what could be one of the most compelling individual storylines in recent baseball history. And if the Giants are smart, and everything suggests they are, they'll do whatever it takes to make sure that story unfolds in orange and black. What do you think? Will the Giants land their anti-Dodgers weapon? Or will geography prove less important than we think? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and don't forget to smash that like button if you're as hyped about this storyline as I am. This is the kind of drama that makes baseball the greatest sport on earth, and we're just getting started.